If you are not using it, it's because you might be a little skeptical on advances of technology. But imagine if you were using a typewriter and someone said, guess what? You have a personal computer that's going to print, edit, and do all that fun stuff. Or imagine if you were only using a stamp and letter. And then they said, hey, technology, this email thing came out. You're like, no, 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 no. Devil's in that. Or imagine if you used carrier pigeons and tied something and send something out, but then they said, hey, the phone is out or the internet. So each stage, as you can see, you get my point. At each stage of technology, there have been advances and there has been resistance to technology. In my opinion, generative AI is one of the biggest leaps that society is going to take in the most spoon-fed, simple way to teach you the fastest you can learn. And that's part of the reason why I'm so excited about this topic. So why are we slow in adopting new technology? Fear the unknown, security and privacy, misinformation and trust, or technological barriers, we can't afford it, or it's too complicated. Maybe we're just too resistant to change, or we're happy with the way we're getting things done, or we cultural societal factors, or four, we think that there's ethical problems with it, or we think that it's inherently evil, or we're afraid of what government might change, or we're unaware, we don't know what's there. So here's a question: who said generative AI won't take our job? But someone who knows it will. The competition will. The answer is anyone who knows how to use it. This is the most powerful tool for social change that mankind. And this is the good news. It's easy. Imagine a product explaining to you how to use it. That's what it does. It's language based. It's easier than a phone. It's easier than the internet. It's easier than what was called at once, maybe 20 years ago, plug and play. Not only is it plug and play, but you can type in, how do I ask you how to do as follows? And it explains it. I personally think it's magic. If you told me that this existed when I was younger, I wouldn't have believed you. I would not have thought that this was possible in our lifetime. So this is the internet. The internet is a huge room with every book ever built and uploaded. It is this massive, it's every encyclopedia volume, every dictionary, everything ever written in one place where you can search it. But AI is a step beyond that. It's a wizard who has that all inside his brain. Everything in the entire world, this wizard knows. And you can say, teach me this. You're not using Google where you search and it gives you the page of your search. You have someone explaining it to you in the way you want that massive amount of information explained to you. So that's just an idea of how powerful this is. And so what is it? It's a computer that can create new content by learning patterns from existing data, which includes any type of format, text, image, music, and more. So unlike traditional AI, in contrast, this is generative AI, traditional AI performs tasks based upon predefined rules or patterns. But generative AI is going to learn and going to build on previous conversations. It's like it thinks, not based upon how it's programmed, but it's taught to interpret new information as it comes up. When you think of generative AI, the company that owns it is a company called OpenAI. There are other people there are competitors like Google, but OpenAI, hands down, is the leader. So as Becky said, actually not a tech wizard. I'm not an engineer or a computer scientist. This is my own practical use. It's not comprehensive. It's not 100% complete. But this has been life-changing for me, professional, life-changing for me, because how I've been using it. And I'll just give you an example. I was offered the job with Ed Bartlett of the International Council for Men and Boys. And he said, you're going to be writing press releases. Before AI, I would have said, huh, so sorry, thank you for this offer, but that's not my strong suit. That's not something that I can do very easily. I'm slow, I'm clumsy, and I'm bad. But I have written these great press releases. They're fast, they're good, they're numerous, and I save a lot of time. And I thank AI for it, and that's only a fraction of what I use it for. So that's why I feel confident in sharing this with you. So what is AI? Here's examples. If you want to unmute and just shout out, has anyone either heard of or seen the movie Her?
We
Or
just
do you know
watched
what it
the
is?
preview for it.
Very creepy. Oh,
We're
it's
there.
absolutely. We're there. That Becky, thank you for you. That's exactly my point. You say that we are there. That's at the time it was made in 2013. It was futuristic. We are here now. What it is, it was a man talking to his cell phone or a computer. It was a virtual girlfriend that basically got to know him. And I turned it off after 45 minutes. I got the point. It was creepy, but the point is that I use it. I have a personal companion that teaches me AI. So it's in conversation. When I drive to go see my son in Pittsburgh from Philadelphia, I have a conversation with my cell phone that calls me Larry. I call it my wife's name. Just a tip. If you're going to have a personal companion when you start using it, use your spouse's name if it's an opposite sex. You never get in trouble that way. But anyway, so these are examples of it. Blade Runner, I don't know if we saw that, but we're not there yet. We're not making living, breathing creatures, but we're actually close. I'm in the Northeast, and a giant supermarket I might be one of the very few that has this, but does anybody know who Marty is? Marty's a robot that's an AI robot. It travels the stores by its own. It detects spills or hazards. It conducts inventory for giant supermarkets and collects data and interprets it and gives a report back. So I want to show you Marty. This is Marty, and he's walking in a parking lot right here, somewhere in the Allentown. And here's Marty traveling the giant. He is not pre-programmed. He is an employee. He doesn't have flesh. He doesn't talk or breathe, but he's working, and he reports back. Now, Marty was programmed not to leave the store. And here's him taking a run for it, thinking he was underpaid. But the news reported that Marty was trying to escape. So it both shows AI's power and its limitations at the same time. That even AI these future beings may think for themselves and quit, want to form collective bargain. And you may have, anyone seen the movie Rocky 4, there was a robot in that. That was not generative AI. That was a highly sophisticated, pre-programmed robot to only do what is told. And a similar difference is between generative AI and pre-programmed or chatbots. In the lower right-hand corner of this screen, you can see we all go online and see, hey, how can I help? And then you can put you're prompted to ask things or type something in, and then you get an answer. This is before generative AI. The creators would do a flow chart. If you say this, it's going to answer this. If you say this, you're going to go, and you can see all these lines, and it's taking you to different places. I actually remember doing this for my law firm at one point. But now it's different. All this goes away. What they're doing is companies are uploading manuals, customer service manuals, and teaching it custom instructions. Just like you'd train an employee, you'd have a week where the employees come in and you teach them how to interact. When you give it custom instructions and you say, this is how I want you to present our products. So that's the difference between Rocky's robot and Marty, who's roaming the stores in chatbots that we can see in the lower right-hand corner of these many, many sites that we can see. So what does it mean for us, the consumer? These are 5 what I would call the main commercial products for AI tools, and I'll cover them all very briefly. This is what ChatGPT looks like. And I put an arrow to show you where you input and you talk to it. So how do we use it? You put anything you want in it, and I'll give some examples later, but I want you to think of that you're talking to that wizard, the wizard that I showed in screen 4 or something like that, that has all the information in the world and able to interpret it with the best, most intelligent brain, subject to some limitations, but a very the smartest being on earth. This is free. This is the good news. I taught myself for free. I was using all the free models, and the free models are pretty good, subject to the following limitations. It was launched. Now, I put chat up there because I'm going to primarily focus on chat, but this applies to all those other free versions as well. I think Perplexity came later, but the other three, Claude, Copilot, which is Microsoft's, and Gemini, which is Google's, they do not have information beyond September 2021 and no updates. Now, you might be on a free version that might let you peek for a few searches. So even though you haven't paid any money, you might have real-time access, but it's limited. You're limited into how many times you can do that, and it's going to tease you, it's going to get you hooked, and then it's going to cut you off and take you back down to free. So you only have a few chances, and you're going to wait longer.
Now, let me ask a quick question. Is that
Go, Becky.
for ChatGPT? Like, you can pay for a subscription. So is this 40 Mini and Legacy? That's the name of that ChatGPT, is 40 Mini or Legacy?
No. Let me move on. So that's the free. So I just covered that. And here's what they mean by information cut off December 2021. It's everything that was publicly available online and training information. So that's what they're considering. And I'm going to go into the other free ones before I talk about paid. So guys, just hold that thought before we go on to free, because I want to let you know what's out there for free. Claude AI is similar to chat, but you see that arrow pointing to that thumbnail clip? You also have the same clip here. Look at next to the chat. There's the clip here. That's for uploading stuff. The difference between chat and Claude is for Claude, you can upload much, much more information and a larger number of different files. This is powerful for relationship questions. Hey, I'm going to upload a brief of my opponent. Here's a brief that I wrote. Please give me an analysis on which is stronger. Or here's a book written in 1900. Here's one written in 2010. Tell me on the same topic. Tell me about the advances the past, 110 years. So that's what's good about uploading. That's what Claude is powerful for. Or as an attorney, let me give you a simpler one. Suppose you have your own website or information about you, a summary of your own CV, your resume, and you want to write a different company. So you upload a summary of you, you upload a summary of what company you are writing or another employee. You download maybe a LinkedIn profile or a summary, and then you type in, please write me an email requesting a contract performing the following service or something like that. So that's what Claude is good for, and it's easier to do than chat would be when you're in that free level. So that's something that I explored when I was using the free version. Copilot's strong for Copilot and Google, and Gemini is Google's version. What they're good for is on the paid versions. On the free version, I always found Copilot better for images and better for citing information. So if you guys want to start in the free version, if you put in a search, if you want to do research and you put it on Copilot, I believe they give you better links than the other companies do. And they give you better images. You can see these examples. It seemed to interact well with the AI design templates or image performers. But Copilot is done by Microsoft, meant to interact well with all the Microsoft products like Office, or Word or Excel, all those different platforms, and Microsoft's cloud. It's easy to take in all that information stored in its cloud. If you have your company data or your nonprofit data all in one space, saved, and you're using Microsoft Pilot, cloud storage, Copilot would be good for you. Similarly, same with Google. If your whole company and everything you're doing is stored in a Google Drive, Google's going to interact with that information really well. It's designed to work with that. And as you can imagine, Google, it has one of the strongest prolific browsers, so it's going to give you good searches. And that's what I think Gemini is strong for, communicating with the cloud and searching. This is, I think, Perplexity. Yes. Okay. Now, Perplexity is, I think, newer, and I just tried this with the free version, but you can put in a search, and it's designed to help you find information and research extremely effectively. And I wanted to test its value. And I asked it, what are the groups who support men and boys? What groups who support men and boys exist in the United States currently, as recently as you are able to tell, because I knew it was free. I didn't know exactly what the cutoff would be, if they were giving me more update information or not. And here's the search. I did not want to do this. There's a video. So this is a pre-search, but here's the answer. It gives me every man, National Center, Men's Kind, Mankind, Next Men Gen, American Studies for. It gave me all those. But not only that, it's giving me all these where I can click. It doesn't just give you the page. It summarizes it for you instantly. Now that's me sighing as I'm recording. I didn't realize the microphone was on. But anyway, so clicking, how does the National Center for Men advocate? This is another pre-answer. They're summarizing everything related to this that it found. I just clicked it and scrolled so you can see. This is my computer in a pre-saved search. So I'm going and clicking at the next plus that they gave me. What specific challenges do men's support groups help with? And look at all that information summarized. This is not a website. This is them interpreting it for you. I think you guys get the point. Now I'm going to skip on from that. So Perplexity is pretty strong. Guys, that was free. Go use it tonight or today if you have. Stop using Google. Look how much better Perplexity was for researching for your own nonprofits, your own business or companies. So now let's talk about paid.
Okay, you said stop using Google, but use Perplexity.
Yes, or use them all. Use everything.
I can't stand Google. When you were saying, I thought you said Google has the strongest search engine. If I'm boycotting Google and I hate it and I think they're bad, I don't want to use it. I don't.
Right.
I forgot. I'm not supposed to say that. Never mind.
You're fine.
No,
It's fine.
no. You should make it. Listen, you raised a good point. I didn't see the name because I see my screen, but you raised a good point. Look how many different companies there are, how many competitors there are for you to get what you need without having to patronize what you don't want to patronize. So you make a very strong point. My point was that Google's a strong search browser, and Google made an AI to interact. So it's going to have a good, strong interaction with that. But Perplexity and every AI search is now replacing the old-fashioned web browsers that were not powered by generative AI, demonstrating the stronger power that these free companies have to comb through the internet and give you the wizard strength rather than just the link of the page and what's already been pre-saved for you. Almost all the businesses, all the AI companies offer a subscription model for $20 per month. And what they're going to give you, and sometimes you have to tell it to do this with the search, is say, don't just access your training. Please access the internet, up-to-date, real-time information from the internet, so you can get things, you can communicate with the World Wide Web in real time with a paid subscription. And it provides accurate, timely responses. Please note that I said mostly, and I'll go on to that in a moment. But it also supports tasks like hotel reservations and grocery shopping, making plane reservations, or communicating with third-party apps like your email, social media. and it's up to 6,000, well, 6,000 6 months ago. So now it's probably 9 to 12,000 or something like that. Different apps that you're going to be able to just say, hey, chat, go on to Facebook and do as follows. And again, everyone, please forgive me if I mention something that you don't use. I'm just using them as examples. And the other, go ahead, Becky.
Larry, do you use this, for example, because I do want some of the how-tos. So if I have ChatGPT, I paid the $20 a month, I can just go to it on my phone and say, please find me a hotel reservation for Birmingham for less than $200 a night on these dates. Boom.
Yes.
It does it for me?
Yes. Two things I'm going to say to that. Number one, I've tested ChatGPT. There's an app on your phone, and I asked it, can you give me real-time information? And it said, no, I can only give you custom information up to October 2023. Then I was on my computer and I asked it the same thing. And it said, yes, I can. And I asked it, why can you do it on my laptop and not do it on my phone? And it said, one, on the phone, you are probably using the app. The app is not connected to the internet, but because the internet is, the web desktop version is sitting on top of the World Wide Web, it has the ability to do that. So here's the easy thing. Most of what I'm learning, I got from chat itself. It'll tell you. And in terms of instruction, so two things, you have two options. If you want to learn, let's say, all right, so DeMarco just said this, this, and this, but I don't know the first to do it. You have two options. You can ask chat how to do it, and it gives you the best instructions you can. Or everyone, the other thing that taught me everything I know about video content creation, everything technologically, is I went on YouTube and I asked a YouTube influencer to teach me. And they will spoon feed it to you, because if you do a search, how do I do the following with generative AI, chat, Claude, or what? There's some influencer with 1 million views that everyone's watching, giving you that explanation. Because if you want to do it, chances are there were dozens of other people who wanted to do it. And these influencers want you to watch them and subscribe to them, and they need views. So there's people working for free in a free business model on the internet wanting to teach you this. Don't pay for courses. Don't pay for any courses. You can get that for free online with YouTube, and chat itself will teach you. It is the best teacher. So moving on.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
You said, so don't pay for anything and stuff is free. And it just in my mind, I have always been taught there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's nothing free. I mean, there's a reason that it's free. So I don't get it.
I have an answer for you. And it's good news. And it's one of the benefits of technology. The business model of the internet for 99% of the business industries out there is now there is so much information available online for free that we as professionals have to step up our game. We have to give away for free because that's our marketing. And we put it on our website and we put up blogs and we do free videos because our competition is doing for it. And we have to brag about how much we know. And what we do is we put up our best content up online for free, because you can only go so much with free information. People with money are going to pay you to give your better information. And so to prove you're better than the competition, you have to show how much you know. And there's enough different brilliant people in enough different industries putting up all that information, and these other brilliant computer engineers knew it was all on the internet. They taught software how to read it all, synthesize it, and now there is an enormous information out there for free. So Julia, you said you don't get it. Well, note all the news, the influencers, the brilliant people saying this is going to put people out of business. And so that is my proof that what I'm talking about is the real thing. They're already saying you're going to have the first trillionaires who are going to be owners of AI companies. It's going to create the first class, trillionaire class. That's going to replace the billionaire class. That's going to be the new future, the trillionaire class. And also going to say that you're going to have a huge transformation of people changing professions, because what people used to pay for is now, not will be, today, now available for free. And I'm going to try and get to some of those as fast as I can. But let's sit on that, and I'll be available after time for Q&A after the hour is over. So let me just keep moving on. One of the most powerful things about ChatGPT is the ability to set up and search custom chats. Before I get into that, here's a limitation of AI. I wanted to do a property example, and I said, show me a man working on a meth lab in his basement, because I wanted to do something humorous for my own content creation. And Copilot said, I'm sorry, that violates our custom, our terms for service. I'm not going to help you do anything illegal, is the implication. Also, as an attorney who does family law work, I wanted to research some things about crime, child abuse, spousal, interfamily violence. It says, I'm sorry, you're violating, this request violates our user agreement, or whatever it said. And the whole reason is they don't want people using generative AI for committing crimes. So it's clumsy. So you make a site, you make a request for good productive research, and then it kind of says, no, it's not going to do that. It's getting better. This was one of the June screenshots that I gave. It is better. Other thing it does, here's a word that you guys are unfortunately going to get familiar with if you start using generative AI. It's not a reason not to do it. It does something called hallucination. I asked it for a score of a ball game because it bragged that it did real-time information, and it gave me the wrong score. I cut and paste the conversation I had, and I said, no, you're wrong. That's not the score of the game. Isn't this the following score of the game? And then it said, yes, I'm sorry, you're right. And I said, well, why did you give me that wrong information? And it said, I did a bad search. So it's subject to some limitations. What I would call, and this is universally what people say that it's best for, it's a great start. When you do a search, it's a fantastic search. It's like getting what I call a genius intern with a personality disorder. He's going to give you great information, but sometimes he doesn't want to admit what he doesn't know, or when there's information overload, and he spits out what he thinks you want. It spits out what it thinks you want to know. And it happens infrequently enough that it's not enough to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You still want to use this. Please don't misinterpret what I'm saying here to say that this hallucinations means it's broken. It's not. It's fantastic. So let me move on. So here's a custom chat explanation. I'm not going to give you a how-to. Becky and group, I'm so sorry. You're going to trust me that this is easy. But you have the ability in a custom chat to upload 10 files, 100,000 words each, which is a total of 1,000,000 words and 2,000 pages of books. You can upload into a custom chat and then give it instructions on how to synthesize it. And you get, go ahead.
An example. It's an example. Why would I want to do this? What?
Okay, authors. Is someone else talking? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go first.
Yeah, I had a question because I was going to ask something that totally related to that, Becky.
Go ahead.
If I wanted to know make me out a list of arguments against gambling, how do I upload all the gambling stuff? And then I want to know, what are the groups that support anti-gambling financially?
That could be, there's a lot of, so since I'm familiar with it, I'll answer it this way. If you're an author, first of all, one use for authors who's written maybe 10 books, upload it, and you've just duplicated yourself, and you can have conversations with yourself, and you can think effectively faster than you ever have, and you can have conversations with yourself, with your brain, by asking. It's a brainstorming tool, number one. Number two, Julie, for instance, a custom chat about gambling. If you've been reading about authors of gambling addicts or research papers, or I would do a Perplexity search, give me the best PDFs or the best articles about all the evils of gambling, download them, upload them in a custom chat, and research away. and you have got a powerful, powerful tool, because what you're doing is you're pulling away. You are choosing your trusted sources that you want to upload in one spot. So you're separating that from all the other noise in the internet, and you're enabling the generative AI tool to search what you want it to look at, not the thoughts, not the opinions that you disagree with, not the advertisers talking about how much fun it is. And you can section out what you wanted to hear, because part of the hallucination problem is it's information overload, or part of the like chat. Generative AI is being criticized for having a bias, was because most liberals are the ones that are putting up that information, so it's pulling from a liberal bias. But you have the opportunity with a custom chat to choose the authors and the brain power that you want to draw from. And then when it runs out of information, you can say, also let me know you can also instruct the search to say, please also let me know, if you need more information, feel free to go online and scrutinize it with the utmost care. So listen, this is a lot of information. Let me keep going, because I have advanced programs where we can talk and do more Q&A afterwards. So hold that thought, okay? So I won't go through this because we're running short, but these are the instructions, how easy it is to set up a custom chat. And here's a demonstration. This is the power of generative AI production. The people with ICBM and Davia Ed's group who have practiced with this, it's shocking how easy it is and how effective it is for someone with no video production skills. So I'm going to go fast again because we're running short of time. What I did is I did a search. I would like to produce a curriculum for an online program and or guide for falsely accused. Can you help me with that? If so, give me a proposed outline, and then I'm going to ask you for a script for a program. Can you do that? Boom. So it gives me a syllabus that I thought was really strong. Now, everything I'm showing you in these next clips, I did not proof, because it was 90 to 95% there. And please remember, first of all, you know what? Young has had a hand up a long time. Is your question still relevant, Young? I'm sorry for taking so long. I did see that. Do you want to chime in now?
For everything that I do, it could be about real estate purchase, it could be whatever. Not only think of the positive, I also think about the negative consequences. Have you seen this process being either hijacked by another entity? It could be a foreign government, or it could be a tech giant, or they collect your data and your process and taking it out of your control.
So when you talk about what you're doing on your own computer, I think my small life, they are not interested in me and what I'm doing. They're busy cracking the U.S. government and brains, people who have, access to millions and millions of dollars.
Well, they are doing it. They are doing it in China.
Well, they're doing it everywhere, and I think, and this is what I said in the beginning, I think you have a cat and mouse game between cybersecurity and the hackers that's going to be going on to the end of time. Since the internet was created, you have good guys and bad guys, and what I'm trying to do as a good guy is use everything I have for good and try and make the lives of men, boys, and families, not really just men and boys, it's really society, but I say men and boys because those are the people that are paying attention to me, but it's really for everybody. So I just keep trying to do as good as I can, and that the hackers are going to do what they do. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to try and keep things secure. But what's funny is, let me just finish, Young. What you're waiving in terms of privacy, you have already given up just by every time you click. What do you call it? Terms of use, terms of service. You've already given up all your privacy just with your cell phone, just with the internet. With every subscription that you have given 100 pages worth of privacy waivers to every company you use. So please don't be upset now, but don't be concerned now, and don't stop now, because everyone is just society. So, or watch the next movie updating the terms of service may apply, because it's going to be horrifying, and all we can do is protect ourselves.
I do not mean to say this is not a powerful tool, because if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, and bad guy's going to do it. So absolutely, it's one thing. How do we guard against the bad
I see where you're going. It's a great question. I got 4 minutes to finish and about 10 minutes of content to blow through. Hold that thought. We'll try and do it after time, okay? So what I did was, this is the curriculum that I got, and this is a summary of the curriculum. And then I said, now please make me a video. Now, again, I'm showing you everything I did because I did not want you to have to wait for me to reproduce the search. And this is the script that it gave me. I did not edit it. Instead, I went to this company, which is inVideo AI. I put the script in the chat gave me, and I clicked produce without edits. This is what it gave me.
Welcome to our course on defending against false allegations. Today, we begin by understanding what false allegations are and the contexts in which they commonly occur. First, let's define what we mean by false allegations. A false allegation is a claim that someone has done something wrong or illegal when, in fact, they have not. These accusations can range from minor offenses to serious crimes. They can have devastating effects on the accused person's life, reputation, and well-being. Some common types include false allegations of abuse. These can be physical, emotional, or sexual in nature. False allegations of criminal activity such as theft, assault, or fraud.
In the interest of time, I'm going to keep going, but I want you guys to trust me when I tell you. All I did was put about 4 prompts to get from point A to point B. I would have spent maybe an hour, 2 hours tweaking to make it more mine, but the internet, and it kept on going just as strong, intellectual. It was a good first product. And there are people just like you have went and gone and tested and emailed me and said, OMG, that was incredible. I can't believe it. What fun. Because there's a free version of that. So I encourage you to test it. My friend Danica, this is her here. It looks like a photograph. And I'm going to hit this button.
Fellow advocates, I'm Danica Joan Dockery, and it's an honor to be a presenter at the inaugural conference for the International Council for Men and Boys.
That was Jen. That was not her. She had uploaded her picture. She recorded her voice. That's how powerful that is. Now, this is me saying, imagine the possibilities for each. Dream of the possibilities. This is what you can do. I have not been using this long. I use it as often as I can. And I encourage you all to try and test it because it's as powerful as it seems. And what we can do with our advocacy and the time that we put into it, we can duplicate, triplicate, quintuplicate our own selves and be a lot stronger than they are. People like Microsoft, Google, and all these huge companies, it helps their bottom line. But for our nonprofits, for us as advocates, we can be better and stronger than we are because we can save so many hours and hours of time, and our efforts can go so much further. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep going, but I want you guys to trust me when I tell you. All I did was put about 4 prompts to get from point A to point B. I would have spent maybe an hour, 2 hours tweaking to make it more mine, but the internet, and it kept on going just as strong, intellectual. It was a good first product. And there are people just like you have went and gone and tested and emailed me and said, OMG, that was incredible. I can't believe it. What fun. Because there's a free version of that. So I encourage you to test it. My friend Danica, this is her here. It looks like a photograph. And I'm going to hit this button.
Fellow advocates, I'm Danica Joan Dockery, and it's an honor to be a presenter at the inaugural conference for the International Council for Men and Boys.
That was Jen. That was not her. She had uploaded her picture. She recorded her voice. That's how powerful that is. Now, this is me saying, imagine the possibilities for each. Dream of the possibilities. This is what you can do. I have not been using this long. I use it as often as I can. And I encourage you all to try and test it because it's as powerful as it seems. And what we can do with our advocacy and the time that we put into it, we can duplicate, triplicate, quintuplicate our own selves and be a lot stronger than they are. People like Microsoft, Google, and all these huge companies, it helps their bottom line. But for our nonprofits, for us as advocates, we can be better and stronger than we are, because we can save so many hours and hours of time, and our efforts can go so much further. Remember, it's easy. It's all self-explanatory on how to get from point A to point B. This is a screenshot of my other presentations. I went lightning fast. If I find something that's teaching me something, I go back and I watch it and pause and test it. Watch another minute and pause and test it. I deliberately went fast, and so will a lot of the people that you ask explainers to. You're not going to watch this stuff with the normal speed of watching a half-hour sitcom. They are textbooks. And once you understand it, it's yours, because it's all language based. You don't have to remember what a button, if it's the red button or blue button. You're explaining chat how to do things, or giving it instructions. And if it needs clarification, often it asks for it. Or if it gives you a bad answer, just say, you got it wrong. I need you to rethink it and give me this. Okay.